Imagine for a moment a cardinal of the Holy Roman Church is arrested. Now, you might think, like McCarrick or something like that, oh, child molestation, embezzlement. No, he's arrested for standing up for the rights of Holy Mother Church in China. What does the Pope say? What does the Pope do? He doesn't meet with them. He refuses, after several requests, to meet with Cardinal Zen. And by the way, Cardinal Zen recently, I think it was in 2021, celebrated publicly the traditional Latin Mass. You know Francis Bergoglio don't like that. He's going to make Zen pay. He's being charged for failing to register for the 612 Humanitarian Relief Fund. And this is established to register the church. You know, China, I don't know if it is anymore, but when I was there, in their national anthem, it states a belief in atheism. They follow the communist Marxist understanding that religion is the opium of the masses. Stalin and Mao and all of them tried to stamp it out. They could never really stamp out religion. So eventually what they did is they just controlled it. What you saw in Russia is they just basically took control of the Russian Orthodox Church. And in China, they did the same kind of thing. They created these state churches that they could control. Well, Cardinal Zen is not going to do that. And so he and many others have been arrested. And now they were out on bail. And now they're going to trial. Here we go. This is on Vatican News. He gives a long answer, Pope Francis does, about, you know, the Vatican Chinese Commission and how we're dialoguing. And Cardinal Parolin, the Secretary of State, has got it all under control. By the way, when Zen was arrested in China, Cardinal Parolin said this does not relate to or affect the Chinese Vatican agreement. So instead of defending a fellow cardinal, he just basically said, hey, we're moving forward with our agreement with China. Don't let this Cardinal Zen stuff take away from it. To me, that's trashy. Pope Francis, qualifying China as undemocratic, I do not identify with that because it's such a complex country. Yes, it is true that there are things that seem undemocratic to us. That is true. Cardinal Zen is going to trial these days, I think. And he says what he feels. And you can see that there are limitations there. More than qualifying because it is difficult and I do not wish to qualify. They are impressions and I try to support the path of dialogue, end quote. This is gobbledygook. I don't even know what this means. You know, we're just going to talk about limitations and dialogues and impressions and feelings and all that. Let's just get straight to the matter, Pope Francis. Your cardinal's going to trial under your buddy, the president of China. And your response is qualifying China as undemocratic. Okay, what does that have to do with Catholicism? I do not identify with that because it's such a complex country. Okay, all countries are complex. China doesn't get a pass for persecuting your cardinal, especially when all you talk about is pluralism and diversity and religious liberty for everybody. And he says, Cardinal Zen is going to trial these days, I think. Well, maybe you should find out, Pope Francis. I mean, are you just kind of getting it from the blogs and the newspapers? I mean, can we figure out what's going on with your cardinal who's going to trial? Are any other cardinals on planet Earth going to trial? This is a big deal. The most troubling thing is then Pope Francis says this. And Zen says what he feels. And you can see that there are limitations there. So he's basically insulting Zen by saying he's just saying what he feels instead of being with me, Francis, and Parolin, and supporting the communist version of Catholicism, the above ground church instead of the underground church. So Zen, he's just saying what he feels. And you can see that there are limitations there, end quote. So he's basically just saying Zen is running off his feelings and he's limited. Disrespectful, Francis Bergoglio. Unacceptable.